have a team of political analysts with us tonight.
And Dave Bryan is back now to introduce us to our analysts. Some you will know, some you will not, but you will by the end of the evening. Dave.
Also, Susie, a lot of questions tonight as the Republicans roll up a smashing victory in the U.S. Senate across the country. Even some Democratic sources saying they expect the GOP will hold 53 or 54 seats by the time the votes are counted. We've got a great panel to talk about it. Zev Yaroslavsky, a veteran L.A. lawmaker. He has served 20 years on the L.A. County Board of Supervisors. Previous to that on the City Council, and he's leaving office now due to term limits. Before that, he served, as I said, on the L.A. City Council, and we're pleased and honored to have him join us tonight. Kerman Maddox is a managing partner at LA-based Dakota Communications. He's a veteran Democratic strategist and has worked on campaigns for President Obama and was a senior advisor to mayors Antonio Villaraigosa and Tom Bradley. And Reed Galen is a veteran Republican strategist. He's worked on campaigns for George W. Bush, John McCain, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Marshall Tuck, and Jeff Gorell. My question to you now is, where does this Republican control of the Senate now leave California? Are we on a deserted island now?
So I think Zev made a good point. I mean, we do well with 2 U.S. senators. We've done quite well with the Obama administration. So I think we're good with the executive branch. The problem is, you know, there could be problems now with the Senate and the House in control in the hands of the Republicans. California being a reliably blue state, I don't know that we're going to get a whole lot of attention. So it could be bad news for California.
Reed Galen, you know, let's face it, California is not exactly #1 on the hit list with a lot of national Republicans, although we do have one of the leadership in the House. Right. But how much difference has that made for California?
Well, I think Kevin McCarthy being majority leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, I think, is a very good thing for California. I think the fact that Nancy Pelosi remains minority leader in the U.S. House, I think, is a good thing. I think overall, what will likely come from both a Republican and a Republican House and Senate is that you will see, as McCarthy laid out last week, they are really trying to get some longer-term things done from a budget perspective, from a legislative perspective, that should help not only California, but most states as we get away from these continuing resolutions and up and down sort of measures.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Is this going to mean the end, for example, of the bullet train? How can that go on without federal funding? Is that dead?
Well, I think it's in pretty bad shape. I mean, obviously Republicans have campaigned against it. They think it's a boondoggle of a project. I think that project's in real trouble in California.
I think probably so at this point. I mean, I know that the governor feels very strongly about it, and some people here in the state feel very strongly about it. I know that even some California Democrats, when Congressman Denham put up an amendment in the House earlier this year, voted against the bullet train. So I think that that's one of those that the governor's going to have to find some money to build it if he really wants
What else would you guess is probably in trouble now as a result of this?
God, we're good in transportation. God, off the top of my head, I really don't know.
I think the thing we're not going to be good at is growing any of the programs that we have now, and maybe even shrink some of them. When you have a more collaborative legislature and chief executive, you can get things done. The big question is whether this new paradigm is going to be a do something or a do nothing government in Washington. That's the big question. We have senior members of our Senate who are both Democrats. It's a big loss to us not to have Barbara Boxer as chair of the Public Works Committee any longer. It's a big loss to us not to have Dianne Feinstein in the leadership role that she's been in the majority. However, they are very shrewd and sophisticated elected officials representing the state. The question is whether Washington as a whole will be able to get things done. If they do, we won't suffer. If they don't, we could suffer some.
Let me ask you quickly about the Board of Supervisors. Yeah. You're going to be replaced by one of the 2 candidates in the race tonight. You've always been known as the swing vote on the Board of Supervisors, especially on budgetary issues. What difference will the election of one or the other of these make?
Well, there's been a lot of speculation that Sheila Kuehl, because she's been supported by labor, will be a rubber stamp for labor, and that Bobby Shriver, who has not been, will not be. I don't see it quite that way. I think that Board of Supervisors is an executive job. It's not a legislative job. When you have executive responsibility, you have to take ownership of the decisions you make. The one thing that no politician wants to have on their resume is that they drove their government into bankruptcy. The one thing that can drive any local government into bankruptcy is going haywire with salaries and fringe benefits. Most of our budget is salaries and fringe benefits. So I have confidence that either one of them will do the responsible thing. I will tell you, as someone who's represented that area for almost 40 years, either at the city or at the county, the people that will elect one of them tonight expect nothing nothing less than somebody who will do what's right and somebody who can say no to their friends and their supporters when the interest of the county at large calls for it.
Well, you'd think lessons would have been learned in this case, too. Thanks to all of you very much. We're going to be back later on in the evening. Susie, back to you.